What's up, guys? Python here, back with another video, and today we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the Mets. I uploaded the Edwin Diaz video earlier today. Well, I recorded it yesterday, got it up today, this morning, but we got a lot more to talk about. There's a lot that has happened over the past few hours here with the Mets. You have opt-outs of contracts. You have rumors already swirling about free agent signings, and I'm here for it. I am loving the fact that I'm hearing Trea Turner linked to the New York Mets. Absolutely exciting stuff here to talk about. Before we jump into all of it, be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. We're going to cover them all off-season long here on the channel. I also have the Mets Talk podcast with my co-host Nico if you want to check out, where we're going to go further in depth with everything as well. So if you're a diehard Met fan like me, then that is the place to be. But let's talk, because like I said, there's a lot here to cover because, like I said, you have opt-outs, you have the free agent rumors and everything. Let's start with the opt-outs, because I feel like let's start with the things that suck. Let's build our way to the better with things. So Chris Bassitt opted out of his mutual contract with the Mets. No surprise there. He's going to try to get more money than he's making under that contract, and you can't blame him. You can't blame him, and I question if the Mets are going to go that route of bringing him back. I really feel like he's going to be brought back because of the fact that you need that number 3 starter. You do, and I feel like they're going to go after a different number 1/2, which we'll talk about names there. But I think Chris Bassitt is definitely going to be on the table as a guy to come back, except obviously he'll be making more money. So I'm completely okay with that, because he was a serviceable number 3. He gave you quality starts more times than not. Yeah, his bad starts were horrendous, so let's not sugarcoat that. But for the most part, you got quality starts from him. For the most part, he was solid throughout the year. So let's see what type of contract he's looking for. Or is Chris Bassitt looking at this as a scenario like, hey, I could go be a number 2 in a different rotation. I could be maybe even a number 1 in a rotation. Does he want to contend more, or does he care about making more money being a number 2, number 1 type starter? Because I feel like a team might actually pay him to be a number 2 starter, which, quite frankly, if you're the Mets, we mean business here. And I'm sorry, Bassitt, but you're the number 3 guy if you stay here in Queens, because we're looking more at bigger names here. Looking over at Carlos Rodon opting out, which I guess we'll segue there. He opted out of his contract. Looking at him to potentially bring in as your new number 2 starter if Jake leaves, which we'll talk about him more. Maybe the trade market's available for a name we don't know about. I don't know. But you have a couple options, I'm sure, there when it comes to a number 1 type starter. If they do want to go the Justin Verlander route, which risky, but you have that option there to go down that avenue, which, again, don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but you do have that if you want to explore it. If you want to explore it, you have that option. So that's where the Mets are at when it comes to Chris Bassitt. Jacob deGrom, like I mentioned as well, opted out of his last year of the contract. No surprise there. We heard rumors back in July or August that he was going to do that. So not any shocking news there, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to end up staying or not. You're hearing Mark Canha say he loves it here. Zach Wheeler and Noah Syndergaard, for whatever reason, talking about it, saying that he loves being a Met and that Steve Cohen's going to do whatever it takes to keep him here. But is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And I don't know. I don't know where we're at with Jacob deGrom. You're hearing Steve Cohen's going to do whatever it takes to match the highest bid that deGrom is going to be offered, which would mean probably if deGrom really does love it here, yeah, he's going to stay and the Mets are going to end up keeping him. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of this thing. I really have a feeling that he's going to move on. And it's not going to be the Mets' fault. I have a feeling he's going to move on, though, and go to... I still think he's going to be a Texas Ranger. That's my feeling there. Atlanta Brave, Los Angeles Dodger. One of those three teams I feel like is the destination for him, but remains to be seen. But I'd love him back. I'd love him back. But I also understand if the Mets decide to not go through with their word and back out because of how much he's going to want and how much he is going to make, because it's going to be more than Max Scherzer. There's no question about it. So you got to question, is it worth it? And I don't have that answer. I don't, because when he's healthy, obviously that's worth it. But health is a big concern when it comes to deGrom. So that's where you have the question, is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. And we'll have to wait and see. Taijuan Walker, too, opting out of that last year of his contract. No surprise again there. Taijuan Walker, I think, is out of here. I think that both sides are kind of mutually going to part ways here. I think that the Mets are kind of done with the Taijuan Walker experiment here, because you need a guy that's going to give you more innings. You need a guy that's going to be more stable in the back end of the rotation, not disappear in the second half. That's going to bring consistency to the rotation. And I respect the decision there. And then for Taijuan Walker, for his sake, yeah, I can go be a number 2 or 3 starter probably elsewhere. Which, good on him. Good on him. I'd respect the decision there if he finds an opportunity to go have that scenario where he is a number 2 or 3 starter. I respect it from his front. So we'll have to wait and see there. I think that he's gone, though. I really think that both sides want to go a different route here. Both sides want to kind of part ways, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about a lot here, but that's just the feeling that I have right now, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. The rotation's got a lot of questions and a lot of things that I don't know. I really don't know where they're going to go with this rotation. You have a lot of different routes, a lot of different free agents here. Where do you go? Where do you go? And I have no idea. I have no idea where the Mets go when it comes to the rotation, but we will wait and see. We're not too far away from free agency here, so we'll get answers soon. And then for the bullpen, too, you got a lot of questions. Robert Suarez from the San Diego Padres opting out of his contract, too. So you got an option there. That's a guy that I really, really want the Mets to target here. So it's going to be interesting to see if they go down that kind of route there. If they want to go big fish hunting there with the relief market, which I don't know if they're going to, considering the fact you gave Edwin Diaz a contract he did. But they're going to need some upgrades in this bullpen, too. So the pitching staff as a whole has a lot of questions and a lot to be answered here. A lot of questions to be answered. So we will have to wait and see on that front. But let's talk about the big thing, the big news that made me smile ear to ear this morning, because there are rumors swirling around, and it said over the past 24 hours, I think this was from Mike Mayer. I'm not too sure. I don't remember who had the initial report, but it has been swirling around that the Mets are going to pursue Trea Turner and that they are heavily interested. And that makes me extremely happy. If you heard my Edwin Diaz video, I kind of hinted how much I want Trea Turner there. Oh, I'd love Trea Turner to be a Met. You have a lot of reasons why here. Number one, you reunite him with his old buddy Max Scherzer, and they're two of the best friends. Number two, the guy is a winner. The guy has a World Series ring under his belt, and if you look at his numbers, he shows up when it matters as well. And you might look back at that 2019 run. Yeah, his numbers weren't too great, but he still was productive. He was still pretty productive. Last year with the Dodgers, he was fairly productive for a Dodgers team that struggled in the postseason. He was one of the few guys that showed up. The guy is a winner. And if you look at his numbers, just, look at them over the past few seasons. Last season, hit 298 with an 809 OPS, 466 slugging, kind of struggled a bit compared to the past few years. But if you look at the past few years, there's no reason to question his ability when it comes to things. Stolen bases, by the way, 27. 2021, he played 96 games with the Nationals, 52 with the Dodgers, and that year finished 5th in MVP voting. And what were his numbers? He led the league in hits with 195 hits, 32 stolen bases, led the league there, 328 led the league in batting average there. had 375 on base, 536 slugging, 911 OPS, 28 home runs on the year there. 2020 with the Nationals, 12 home runs, finished 7th in MVP voting, had a 335 batting average, didn't lead the league somehow there in batting average. 982 OPS. I mean, you look at the guy's numbers, he is a winner. His numbers are off the chart. His stolen base numbers are off the charts. I mean, 230 career stolen bases there in 849 games. That is unreal. Unreal. The guy walks, the guy gets on, and he'll also give you a bit of pop there. Also give you a bit of pop. 21 home runs last year, like I mentioned. 2021, 28 home runs. He's good for at least 20 home runs. He's good for at least 20 home runs, and you add that sort of pop to a lineup that needs it, and you add him into the leadoff spot, it's night and day, the difference between Nimmo and him. And I made the comparison for my hockey fans out there. It's kind of like the Rangers going from Ryan Strome to Vinny Trocheck as the second line center there, where you're getting a significant upgrade that people don't acknowledge here. Brandon Nimmo, yeah, love the guy. I'm sure he's a great clubhouse guy, but imagine you get someone with leadership abilities. You get a guy who's been here long enough, who's won something in this league. It's different. It's different hearing a guy like Brandon Nimmo talk, which no offense to him, but it's different. It's different listening to him talk, and then Trea Turner, that's a guy you want to listen to. That's a guy who could walk in the clubhouse, show off that ring on his finger. It's different. Him and Max Scherzer. Just something that I would love. And that would obviously mean you slot him at second base. He's got to be willing to play second base. That's another thing. But if he is, I see no reason why this would be a bad signing. Then you move McNeil maybe to third base, or you move him into the outfield, move Marte over the center. You have options. And God forbid Lindor gets hurt during the season too. Like last season when he was playing with a broken finger, you could afford to put him on the injured list because Trea Turner could just slide over to shortstop then instead of trotting out Luis Guillorme over at shortstop, which I love Luis Guillorme, but as a bat, not too great there. But you have an option now, a legit all-star player to slot over at shortstop if you need to. And then another guy that I'm very interested in, Jock Peterson. I'm hoping that we hear some things about the Mets being linked to him. Another guy who's a winner, will add pop to the lineup. And if you get those two in your everyday lineup to add to what you have, the lineup has become a lot more scary. You get Trea Turner at the top. You have Jock Peterson either as your DH or you're having him play every day in the outfield as your number 5 hitter. That lengthens this lineup. Lengthens it a lot. And I'm liking the look of that lineup a lot more than last year. I don't know about you guys, but you're bringing in winners. Do you see the difference too? Guys that have been here and showed up when it matters. So those are names that I'm kind of looking at. Another thing to throw in there, Vogelback, they picked up his option, the $1.5 million option. Not bad for a guy that is a serviceable MLB bat, by more than serviceable. He brings a lot of pop, but I don't want to be in the everyday DH next year. It's that simple. Bring him in and have him be that left-handed pitch hitting option, and we're fine. And we're fine. I just don't want him playing every day, hitting 5th every day like we saw last year. Maybe the plan is to have him be the DH. You go out and sign an outfielder, and you go out and bring Trea Turner in. I wouldn't like it, but I'd imagine that's maybe the route they're looking, just because Vogelback doesn't bring you any defensive play or anything of that nature. So I'm not too sure where they're going to go with that, but that's something to keep an eye on. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section on Trea Turner. Do you guys want him to be a Met? Are you guys more of the side, bring Brandon Nimmo back and look at a different route? Let me know your thoughts all in the comment section. Mets with the starting pitching too. Let me know what you think there. Let me know all of it in the comment section. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like on it. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload a video next. And I will see you in the next one. Let's go Mets.